Self-settled SNTs. These are called D4A trusts. If you ever hear about them, these are Medicaid trusts. These are for funds that your child receives or your family member receives. They are funded from beneficiaries' assets. Okay, go ahead. These are usually from a lawsuit award. When you hear about the medical malpractice and the birth injury, and the child ends up with developmental disabilities and oftentimes physical disabilities, there's an award. And what happens is the medical bills for that child far exceed their lifetime medical bills far exceed any award that they ever receive. So by the time the settlement happens, the lawyers are paid, the expenses are paid, there's $100,000 left, and the child already has a medical lien of $500,000, and Medicaid is already $750,000. What D4A of the code allows us to do, this is part of the federal tax code, is we can put the money in a trust for that person to supplement their benefits. And we can supplement, but when the child dies, go ahead, we have to pay the money back, whatever's left, to Medicaid. So these have to go ahead. These trusts are so regulated. They run about 15 pages of documents, and most of it is all the COMAR, Code of Maryland regulations, and the federal. And they have to go to the Attorney General. And here's the best part about it. The Attorney General changes about every year and a half. Every year. Annual reporting. They are audited, and they are reviewed by the Attorney General. So we get a huge award, goes out to the lawyers, goes out to pay the Medicaid liens, the hospital bills, and we negotiate all those down, and we end up with $100,000 with a child that has lifetime disabilities. What can we do with it? Well, we invest it with a financial planner, and we try to create income to supplement so we can go on vacation, so we can do certain things, so we can get a caregiver, and our family can go away and have a week off. But at the end of the day, there's a payback. Whatever's left in the trust goes back to the state and to the federal government. Okay? Pooled special needs trusts. These are the same thing, only they're a little bit better. Self-settled special needs trusts, they come from a beneficiary's fund, and they're managed by a nonprofit in a separate account for the beneficiary. So they're segregated, and there's several that are very good in the state of Maryland. I like pooled income funds. There's a problem, though. You have to have the right amount of money. There's costs that are associated with these. But the good news is any remainder can stay with the nonprofit. COMAR and the state do not take a priority lien on these. So there's a good benefit to these. But you can't pick your trustee, and you can't pick the investments. You lose a lot of control. If you have a child with a life expectancy that is pretty well certain, a lot of people use the D4A trust and don't use a pooled, and they just use the trust funds aggressively and spend them down. So there's very little left at the end of that child's life. That's a tough decision, though, because you never know when that's going to happen.